fellow wanderers. It's Richard again, and this time we have a very special video. This beautiful lady in the monitor, you can see, is my daughter. Together, and first of all, we are both crazy Ted Dekker fans. I've got the little image of Ted Dekker on my screen, actually of the three. But we're going to play a little trivia game here, and then I'm going to interview her because she's also an author, and she has some special abilities, disabilities. We'll get into that. So say hi.
Hello.
So there's a little lag time. Zoom. So this is Felicia, and this is my daughter. So we're going to start out. You're going to ask me questions about what book?
About the 49th Prophet and the following book, or I'm sorry, the 49th Mystic and the second book, Rise of the Mystics.
Yep, awesome book series by Ted Dekker. I got that book given to me, and it took me forever to pick it up, and then when I picked it up, I could not put it down. I'm going to ask you questions about, what is your favorite Ted Dekker book?
3.
3, and that's THR, the number 3E. So you might be able to see in there if it's in focus enough. Here we go. Are you keeping track of the points? Here we go. I'm gonna beat her. Okay. You didn't hear that, right? So now, just so you know, Kevin is the main character in 3. So what school did Kevin attend?
Oh my God, are you serious?
Those are my kind of questions.
I remember that.
Oh, these are not spoiler questions, by the way. You don't remember that? And any description of the school? I'll give you a point for that.
It's a seminary school. He's a seminary student.
I'll give you that.
Theology.
Yep. Divinity School of the Pacific. Second question. Who was the antagonist? What's the name of the evil guy?
Slater.
Yep.
Richard Slater.
Richard Slater. Next question. What city is the story set in?
Long Beach, California.
Ding, 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 ding. She's doing good. I'm kind of afraid now. What kind of questions is she going to ask me?
Hard ones.
Yeah. Okay. Here's one. What is the name of the girl who had befriended him when he was a kid?
Samantha.
She's getting him. Okay. 2-part riddle. There's 2 questions.
Riddles? Oh, are you the riddle killer now?
This spoiler alert. You're going to find that the answer to the riddle, one of the riddles, the very first riddle. But you find that out like in the 3rd chapter or something like that. What falls but never breaks?
What falls but never breaks?
Breaks. And that's followed by what breaks but never falls. You're going to kick yourself.
Humanity.
No. Good one, but I think humanity could break. Night falls, day breaks.
Yep, I remember that.
All right, easy question. At the beginning of the story, and I don't think he has a birthday during it. How old is Kevin?
27.
Oh, so close. He's 28.
25.
28.
28. Oh, man.
Yes. All right. What is Kevin's aunt's name or aunt's name, depending upon what part of the country you're in?
Aunt Belinda.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding. Who, at the beginning of the book, does Kevin suggest could be capable of both gossip and murder? This is a tough one.
The professor.
Oh, so close. The bishop.
The bishop.
Yes. All right. Final question. Really tough one. See if you can get this. It's really, really deep, philosophical. What kind of flowers does Aunt Belinda have in front of her house?
What?
It says what kind of flowers. So what kind of flowers does Aunt Belinda have in front of her house?
I hate you. Roses.
Nope. Fake.
Fake. Oh, I hate everything.
Try it on me.
Okay,
I'll probably do worse, but we'll see.
so let's start you off easy.
Okay.
What is the name of the town the 49th Mystic takes place
They're really easy. Eden.
in? And what is the state?
Utah.
Perfect. This is a spoiler a little bit.
Okay.
So spoiler warning for the beginning of the 49th Mystic. How did Rachel get her sight back?
Let's see if I remember this. I believe the Shadow Man touched her eyes. He actually came in person. And did he touch her eyes? Am I close?
Yeah, she got her sight back actually in a dream of the Shadow Man, which I actually referenced the Shadow Man by name, and the name is kind of what I was expecting out of this question. So who is the name of the Shadow Man?
That I'm going to fail at. I cannot remember.
Vlad Smith.
Ah, duh. Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he also visited like in person while she was out, and like that's who her dad saw.
All right, next question.
All right. What is the name of the Horde's high priest?
Oh, gosh. What is his name? Fail so bad. I can't remember. I should know this, but I can't.
Baal or Baal, however you say it.
Yeah.
B-A-apostrophe-A-L.
Yeah. Fail.
Baal. What are the names of the factions that divide the second world?
That does divide the second world? You mean
Correct.
the
the world that she dreams of while she's in Eden, Utah.
Yeah, the Circle, the Horde, and the Elyon Knights.
Well done. What do the Horde refer to someone different to them as? Hence, it's used derogatory.
Albino?
Yes.
Yay.
Well done. Spoiler warning for the end of the 49th Mystic.
Oh, boy.
Who was behind Project Eden?
Was that Vlad Smith?
No.
No. One of the the Raison Corporation?
DARPA.
DARPA, okay.
All right. What is a member of the Horde called by an outsider? Also derogatory.
I don't know. Stinky face. What was it?
A scab.
A scab. Oh, duh. I know that. Okay.
What was the name of Rachel's spiritual guide in the second world?
Oh, man.
It's like a older, like spiritual guide, kind of priest guy.
I don't know.
His name is Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
It's been a long time since I've read this.
All right. I have two more questions for you. The official last question is the one I am about to ask, and then I have a bonus question because I want to know if you can answer it.
I might need the 2 points, yes.
Okay. What was an example of one of the trials Rachel had to go through to surrender her earthen vessel to Christy? I will tell you that I don't have an answer written down next to this on my answer guide because I could not remember. So if you can remember this.
Okay, skimming toward the end. I don't have that, but that's in the second book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And I vaguely remember something about it, but I can't put my finger on it. So
okay.
Fail.
So let me give you the bonus question.
Okay.
What are the meanings of the colors on the symbol on the front of the book? So this symbol that is on every single Circle series book, what are the meanings of these colors?
Red for blood.
Mm-hmm.
White. Is there white in there for purity?
Yeah.
Or not purity?
There's white pearl, and then there's the white circle around.
Okay. I don't know.
You might want to pop an image of it up on the screen. Right. And if you try to Google this, I don't think you're going to find a whole lot because I tried to Google it for the full answers and I could not get anything, including an excerpt from Elian.
Okay, so there's red, green, pearl, and white. And coming closer, it does not say. No,
Yeah.
it's ads for the book. Yeah, so I don't know. Life and blood and tell you what, this is a great one. Hey, comment below what that true meaning is. All right. Okay. All right. So the real reason for this video conference.
I'll calculate your total at the end, and you can put it on the screen.
Okay. Well, you had 5 right. And
Okay.
did I come close to that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
She went.
I'm guessing you got about 30%.
That sounds about right. Okay. So you are an author, and you are writing a book about someone with disabilities because you yourself had disabilities. First of all, let me ask you: can you go ahead and explain what your disabilities are and how they affect your life?
Yes. So I have several disabilities, primary of which is hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. It affects all of the connective tissues in my body, including my joints, my stomach, my heart, my everything, literally everything. It affects every part of my body.
Go ahead and repeat the name of that because you garbled up a little bit while you were saying it.
Hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Yeah. Okay.
And with that comes a whole host of comorbidities, including postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS for short, which is a condition where my blood pressure doesn't like change correctly when I lay down, like from like sit or stand from a laying or sitting position. Postural changes causes my blood to go down to my feet, and my heart beats really hard to try to get blood back up to my brain, and then I pass out.
Right.
And I have mast cell activation syndrome, which is a condition of the mast cells being overactive in the body, causing a whole bunch of allergic reactions that are spontaneous. You can't track them. There's no specific allergens. You're just allergic to anything and everything spontaneously.
Okay.
And then I also have gastroparesis, which is a paralyzation of the gastrointestinal tract. Comes in different ways for everybody. For me, it slows down my motility, so the way that I'm able to digest food, as well as my bowel movement process, so the way that I'm able to move food out of my body.
Right.
And the ways that this affects my body, just so we get that like out, is primarily joint wise, and then of course with my POTS, I also have to have saline infusions in my own home, so I have a port. I have to administer saline in my home. I'm trained how to do that myself. I use a wheelchair and crutches to get around for the most part because I can't walk very far. I have to wear a ventilated mask whenever I leave the house because I'm allergic to almost everything in the environment,
Right.
as well as like cleaners and stuff around my own home. I have to be really careful.
Right. Okay. So, and then, but despite all that, you are writing a book, and I want you to give me an explanation of what the book's about.
So my book is actually about my life. It is a fictionalized version of my life, placing myself as the main character of my book in fictionalized sense. So like the main character is me, and it follows my current relationship, and it's about love and disability and romantic and sexual relationships through a disability lens. And it talks about, you know, all of my disabilities and what it's like to live in a disabled body, and a body that requires more care and is constantly changing, and the ways that we are still able to have healthy relationships even with these challenges.
Right. Okay. And what inspired you to write about, especially about your disabilities? I mean, that's a bold move.
I want people to see that love is possible despite disability and limitations and physical limitations and everything that comes with disability. I want people to know that it's possible to have healthy relationships. I want people to see disability framed in this way. There's not a whole lot of examples out there of, you know, disabled characters with these types of disabilities. and, let alone good role models that, you can look up to and find on social media that have these conditions. Part of my mission is to destigmatize disability and to provide healthy examples of love and relationships, because I never had that growing up.
Right. Yep. And and this is a very deeply, intensely personal book for you. Where do you draw the line as to what to share and what not to share?
So for me, I'm very open already on social media about all of my conditions and the ways that my life is impacted. It's very important for me to have that kind of a relationship with my audience. I believe that it's important to see the real, raw, honest truth of life. So where do I draw the boundary? I gotta say, there's really not much of a boundary. It definitely is very personal to expose all of my life, and especially my romantic life, for the media and the internet to consume. I mean, it's very challenging to even think about like publishing a book like this where people can see the innards of my relationship.
Yeah.
But I think that it's really important, and I think that the world has to see examples of love like this.
It's honest life, and
Mhm.
it is. Obviously, it's a little bit different audience from what I'm writing, but it's a very valid audience. Actually, probably a larger audience than what I'm writing to. But I'm sure there'll be some crossover as well. So, for your audience, and here's the final and big question for me as a writer: is what do you want people to take away from your book?
I want people to learn to think critically about ableism, internalized ableism, disability language. Is it disabled person or person with a disability? Do you use person first language? Do you use identifiers? How do you communicate about disability? I want people to think critically about these things and have conversations with themselves and the disabled people in their lives about how they want to communicate about disability. And I want people to take away the knowledge that romantic love is possible, even though you're disabled.
I would say that's all of my questions. It's actually all of your questions. So,
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
In the, focus of disability, how do you, referring to the Will Clary series, how do you, as a neurodivergent male, write in the lens of a non-neurotypical boy, a boy with Asperger's?
That is a very good question, and I think the simple answer is carefully. When I have a question about, okay, would he do this or would he do that? I'll go to Nathan and say, hey, what would you do in this situation? So I read recently that to get into your characters' heads, which is critical when you're writing first person, which is most of my writing is first person. To get into your character's heads, you should take a Myers-Briggs test as that person. What would you do? And then read, for instance, in Raymond's, the novel I'm working on now, John is an INTJ. So, and I took the test as John, and he is INTJ very, very strongly introverted. He's very intellectual. And so I have to crawl inside his head. I'm nowhere near as introverted. Just like you, I don't want them to feel limited. And that's kind of the goal of my book, of Will Clary, is the biggest thing is I don't want the kids to feel limited by their differences.
I think it can be considered a disability. I think that's individual to the neurodivergent person, is that you do have, atypical ways of living in society, and whether as a person with physical limitations or with mental limitations, that experience is similar. And I think it depends on the person that you are speaking to, referring about here, disability language is completely different. Some people believe that person first language is the way that you should identify with disabled people. And I think that disability itself is, really powerful, and makes that language makes me feel proud about my identity. Yes, I am a person outside of my disabilities, but I am first and foremost disabled. It affects literally everything that I do in my life.
Right.
I do not go a moment of my day without thinking about disability.
But on the other hand, you don't want people to write you off because you have the label disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So
there is so much more to me, but it's all because of disability.
I think we both can agree that we don't want to, we don't want people with disabilities to be left out's not the right word, but written off, ignored, put into a corner of society. I'm proud of you for writing your book. I hope that it, while I may be uncomfortable with parts of it, because it is definitely not my genre or style, and we come from different worldviews, but I accept that, and that's fine. And I hope it's a huge success. And I hope you not only get. I mean, I know as an author, the important part is that your message gets out, and that people understand what you're trying to say. But I hope you also get financial success out of it as well. So,
Thank you.
Any final statements you might want included on the video?
Well, if you are wanting to write a book and you are featuring a character with disabilities, either, mental, physical, any spectrum of disability, write what you know and get to know people in the community. Because even if you are a part of that community, your experience is not the entire experience. Get to know members of the community, get to learn about them and write their experiences, but most importantly, write about something that you know.